All right. Hear the sirens? It's been going on for the past couple minutes. I'm getting ready to go pick up Alyssa. And this is what I talk about what they do. So when they start targeting me heavily, whenever I am exiting out the apartment to go pick up my daughter, back then, my son also, they will always use the sirens a few minutes before I actually, go pick them up, okay? All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience, Target Individuals Programming. Here's the car horn as soon as you, the black vehicle. So I thought about how to use the color black. I got out the elevator, Negropean female, all black, dressed in black, right? Again, waited. So they're very sneaky when it comes to doing what it is that they're doing, right? And again, trying to use the color black. I keep telling them that shit don't work with me, all right? It don't matter what they do. I understand exactly what it is that they're trying to do, and it doesn't work. I look at the reality of things, not some, because you sending me some subliminal message. I don't care about that. All right, and again, this is why I see a lot of, particularly our women, operate in the realm of, delusion. All right, you're supposed to know what I'm thinking. All this bullshit. No one knows what you're thinking. I keep saying, when we meet people for the first time, a lot of times it's because particularly if they're religious, right, they are being given information, or they find out information about you, right, if they're interested, in order to manipulate you. Okay, so it isn't from a place of genuine like or interest. It's either because they are trained in certain psychological manipulative tactics. They are highly narcissistic, more sirens, more noise, right? And look at the perp, look at the stalker. Keep telling you, I'm gonna expose them. The stalker across the street. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. I want you to understand, they are emboldened today because they think that they can manipulate me, and particularly when I talk about predator law enforcement officers who are in the churches, and they are teaching civilians manipulation tactics and methods and schemes. This is what I talk about. Yeah, goodbye. Hey, bro, you could have went a long time ago. The light was yours. You had the crosswalk. But I want you to see that he wants to walk across the street when, it's not his. The light is for the vehicle. It's not his light, I should say. All right? This is what they do. Like I said, they're sticking her thumb out unless she walks towards me. Sticking my thumb out too. I will not allow them to get away with what it is that they do. And if they think they're going to come and arrest me and charge me whatever, go ahead. I keep telling y'all, my purpose is greater than yours. And the one thing I know, what these criminals don't want is to be exposed in such a way. All right? Not only do I understand what it is that they're doing, but I understand through other TIs who've been through the same thing, who went to court, and what it is that they do, and how they do it, and how they do not want to be exposed. So go ahead. Like I keep saying, do whatever y'all want. But understand this. The repercussion going to be swift. Right? You will not railroad me. You will not set me up. You will not, you can get people to accuse me of whatever. Right? But what's going to happen when other people start accusing you of whatever? Right? Understand that. Remember, like I said, these people, they talk about karma. They do all this shit, but they don't ever think about that very same karma coming back to them. Right? Understand what I'm saying? So, when you look at the mindset of these people, you look at their behavior, what it is that they'll tell others. Right? Like Pam said to me, a couple weeks ago, because again, I did not, agree to something that she was trying to put on our daughter. And I said to her, no, I am not going to allow you to put it on our children when you're the goddamn adult. You are the parent. I said, God. But you are the friggin' parent. You're the adult. But what it is that a lot of, again, our women are conditioned, or they're manipulated, is to not want to be accountable, that they will throw their own children under the bus. Right? So they have degraded the mindset of our women, where there is no accountability on their part. And then the people around them, instead of telling them the truth and being honest, they'll say, oh, well, if they're a teenager and they should be able to get up on their own and this and that. Well, how could they when you have a mother or one parent who refused to do that, who refused to set a good example? Children don't learn things on their, certain things on their own. You have, as parents, then why have children? Why? Again, a lot of times they're having children out of an unfulfilled, unhealed need for love or attention. Because a lot of them have children just for attention. A lot of them have children for the wrong reasons. They'll have children because, they want to try to keep a man or trap a man. They'll have children because they want to be taken care of. Not the children, they want to be taken care of. Do you understand? Okay? This is the dysfunction. And so what happens that when children are born in situations that are not out of love, right? Then most likely those children are going to repeat the same mistakes, the same cycle, the same trauma is going to happen to them. Right? And even when you have fathers who say, okay, we had a one-night stand, you got pregnant, I'm gonna take care of my children. They'd be like, well, what about me? Right? No, we had a one-night stand. Things happen, we both should have used protection. I should use protection. And things happen, but I'm there for my child, not for you. It was a one-night stand. See, it's only up until that point that they start thinking about family. Right? And even if the man say, okay, let's give it a shot, it doesn't work. You know why? Because again, that man will feel neglected, right? Because all she really wants is a child, right? Because now she feels that she has a child by that man, and that man gonna have to do everything for her. Like I said, we have to teach our young men and women, our young boys and girls, and be honest with them about what's going on. But if we ourselves as adults don't come into some form of consciousness, then we just watching our children repeat the same mistakes that we repeat. And then we want to call it a curse. It's not a curse. Right? It is how you are programmed. It is how you are raised within an environment, right? Whether it is that environment, it is conducive to promoting healthy individuals or individuals that are toxic, individuals that are highly narcissistic, individuals that are selfish, self-centered. And then they go chasing men or women, depending if you're a man or a woman, for the wrong reason. That's why, like I said, I have not been on the dating market because I know my situation, right? And I know that women don't listen. So I am not putting myself in a situation or them in a situation where, they can be targeted based off of the fact that I'm being targeted, right? And again, a lot of women will see that I'm a target individual, and they want to date me because they figure that, they know that they're going to do whatever to break up our relationship. So the man that they're going to be introduced to, they're going to be like, okay, well, he's a man that has more means, So just like what Pam did, right? Like I said, they are very manipulative, and they will use your situation for what they consider to be their advantage. But it won't be an advantage. It will only be a temporary situation until they are done with it. This is what, again, they quite do not understand because of the nature of who they are. And particularly of believers and who the believers are. Right? You know, you see they walking towards me, just do walking, stick out his tongue, right? Again, it shows you that they are part of a cult, and they're part of a destructive cult. And there are those within predator law enforcement who operate these cults, and these cults are engaging in criminal activity, whether it be for extortion, whether it be to silence those who they want to silence within the public, right? And so again, if we don't teach these things to young people, particularly my black brothers and sisters who are not religious, you need to understand what's going on. You need to understand that if you're in the conscious community, or you have a conscious mind, you're going to be attacked, and you need to be very careful. And these people have been trained to even become your handle, right? That's why I love the show on Netflix called Off in Black, right? I mean, it shows you, right? And then you can go read about this stuff on The Guardian. You had British predator police officers who, get into relationships with these women who are political activists. You know, they these women get impregnated by them, and then after their job is finished, they vanish. They vanish without, with no trace, right? Until it was revealed that these men were undercover. How you are undercover? You having children with these women who are, again, commit no crime, but only they are involved in political activism, get them pregnant, and then vanish. And you think it's only in Britain? You ever think that's happening here in the United States? You ever think that's happening here in other nations? Like I said, we become so tunnel-minded because we lack the ability to think critically. We lack the ability to see our reality, right? We lack the ability to understand who is shaping our reality, who is in control of reality, who is shaping the society, what kind of people they are, what it is that they believe in or what they think, right? Like I said, the media will make a big deal out of, let me rephrase that. When it comes to the media, right, and how they crucify Michael Jackson, how they crucify R. Kelly, which, I would say rightfully deserve, right, but not to the extent in which they do. Yet they ignore the predator, serial, pedophile cops, judges, doctors, elites, right? They actually cover for them, right? I posted a news report of a police officer, ex-police officer, who was charged in essaying a child. Like I tell him, I said, I don't got to do anything except expose what they're doing to me, but also share information. Like I said, I don't got to manipulate other people. I don't got to pay them, right, to do things to anybody, to drug them and to falsely accuse them. Stalker. Tell you, male and females, right? Stalkers. All right, I don't got to do that. But like I said, when the truth come out, we'll see who the true criminals are. We'll see who the true predators are. We'll see who the true manipulators are, who the true liars are. So, like I said, at this point, realizing and knowing what it is that they do, you get the confidence to say, I understand, and I'm going to expose what it is that they're doing. And no matter what they do to you, or no matter what they do to me, the fact is that the truth will never be hidden in terms of what they've done to me and other TIs. All right? And they must understand that. You must understand that. You must know that. And don't back down. Don't back down, because that's what they want. When they try to accuse you, and then they run psychological operations to manipulate you, to make you afraid, because they don't want you to tell your side of the story. You gotta understand the criminal mindset, particularly those in position of authority, and what they do and how they try to get away with it. All right? It ain't gonna happen, not with me. It is not gonna happen. And then try to bribe them and try to manipulate you and using reward and operant conditioning, which is a conditioning method based on reward and punishment. Yeah. See, once you have knowledge of these things, you can never be afraid, because your purpose becomes one that is good and just, which is exposing their evil, their lies, their manipulation, their deception. All right? And like I said, I don't believe in the Bible, but guess what? I can use the Bible to show you exactly who they are, what it is that they do, and the lies, because the same tactics and methods that their God in the Bible do and use is what they use. But what they talk about, and it shows you, right? It shows you that they're not ignorant to who their God is. But when they talk about God is good all the time, and God is always on time and all this nonsense, God's not the author of confusion, they know He is. They know He is, right? But their cognitive dissonance is preventing them from speaking the truth and from understanding and bringing that truth into the consciousness of their mind. All right? It is a psychological defense mechanism that has been conditioned in their mind. All right? Talk to you guys in the next video.